Shalom, shalom. This is Elder Isaac Hill, Restores of Truth Ministry, sharing with you another Scripture Nugget. Today's Scripture Nugget will be based and found in Matthew or Netanyahu, chapter 24, verses 4 and 5. And if I had to put a title to this, I would call it the prophecy or the Bible prophecy omitted. Now, in Matthew chapter 4, verse chapter 24, rather, verse 4 and 5, it says, And Yahushua were answering, said to them, Take heed that no one leads you astray. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Messiah, and they shall lead many astray. Now, what I want to focus on, again, is the omitted prophecy, or the prophecy that has been omitted. Many times when you hear of various events that is occurring, whether it's natural disasters, if some call it that, volcano eruptions, tsunamis, even the stock market crashing, and so just various events, whether it's tornadoes or any other type of destruction. Immediately you have a horde of people, both male and female, who jumps on this and begin to try to tie this in with certain types of prophecies and end time events and so forth. But what is really omitted when they are doing this is verse 4 and 5. And most of the time they try to base it on this chapter, Matthew chapter 24, but they run through verse 4 and 5 and they get directly to the events, the disasters, the rumors of wars, and so forth. And the reason is because many people are led by the emotions or their emotions. And so therefore, we get straight to the emotional part of prophecy or end time events and really don't balance this thing out. But look what it says in verse 4. It says now, and Yahushua answering said to them, Take heed that no one leads you astray. Now, what he's actually doing, uh, he began to focus more on faith and religion. Before the events, before the volcano eruptions, before the tsunamis, before the hurricanes, the tornadoes, and so forth, before all of these things, he's addressing religion here. He's addressing faith here. So the first thing he said is, Take heed that no one leads you astray or deceive you. Okay. Now, notice who he addressing here. He's talking to the disciples or the Talmudim. So therefore, you have to balance all of this with Torah. You have to balance all of this with the heart of Yah. And what happens, so many people get on board with this and they begin to focus more on the events, but they bypass and they omit verse 4 and 5. So he's actually addressing faith and religion. And look at this. He says in verse 5, he says, Many shall come in my name. So that lets me know that these people, male, female, uh, that write books or movies or produce DVDs, they're actually going to come speaking as if they have been ordained, if I could use that word, or chosen by Elohim. And what happens is a byproduct of that is that basically two things. Number one, it appeals to the sensations of the people, and then the people begin to buy books. They begin to go to the movies. They buy the DVDs, and they begin to follow these people. If I can say this, their ministries and their teaching. And number two, the second thing that happens is that the people that predicts or try to use these events as if quote unquote they have been chosen and ordained of Elohim to do this, one thing that or two things that basically happens, the byproduct of this. Uh, that is, they have such, such big following. All of a sudden, their numbers shoot up. And not only their numbers, but you'll see this as well. Their money increases. Their budget increases. And it happens every time. And so what they are actually doing is capitalizing on Matthew chapter 24 because Messiah said that these events will happen. However, what these people are omitting is verse 4 and 5. And what 4 and 5 is really talking about is that there will be people that will come speaking as if they are of Elohim. And anytime a vessel, male or female, who say they are speaking of Elohim, two things they forget. They forget about the heart of Yah, and they forget about all of these things that has to balance out with Torah. And so what they're trying to do basically is build their ministry or build their following. So you get these books, you get these DVDs, you get these productions that comes out, and people flock to them, and people get on board and begin to partner with these ministries, but they fail to attach all of this to what Yahushua said in verse 4 and 5, which is, be careful, paraphrasing, that you're not led astray. And secondly, many will come in my name. Many will come speaking as if they are of Elohim. And so those are the two things regarding Bible prophecy that we end up missing. We don't put those things together. We don't balance out or weigh everything against verse 4 and verse 5. Again, it is as if someone has been chosen by Yah. And so therefore they come up with all of these ideas and so forth. And it's all about selling books, selling DVDs, and it's all about producing movies. And again, when you see these things take place, the byproduct is these vessels, their income increases and their following increases. So when we look at these events, the stock market, the volcanoes, the tsunamis, and so forth, let us learn to balance things out with the scripture. Many will come in his name, and many will lead many astray. So it has to balance out with Torah, and it has to balance out with the heart of Yah. Shalom, shalom. See you next time on Scripture Nuggets.